Okay, I've designed this yellowXpress printing press as a portable, safe, quick, very versatile press. Now the press has its multiple uses. They are mostly relief printing, but it will also easily manage papermaking, bookbinding, blind embossing, and also we're embossing into a book cover to demonstrate how much power is available. This press is easy for children to use, it's easy for artists to use. I have a number of beds available that can slide the work in and out of the press like this, and you activate the pressure and then release, remove the board, and another person, while this artist is preparing their work and pulling off the print, other artists can be lined up and put their boards in and take prints. Special features of the yellowXpress: its power, its simplicity, its versatility, and its portability. And I can lift this machine. It's easier with two people, but by swiveling it around and holding it against myself, I can pick it up and move it to another site. Quite easy. It weighs, in this form, 32 kg. As you know, it delivers 2000 kg power. This is another woodblock carving, and it's 5mm MDF, and I'm going to use a combination of brown and black, and I may need to apply more ink to get a good coverage, to charge up the board with enough ink to make a print. Listening to the sound, you hear the sticky sound there. That's the indication that the ink surface has built up considerably. There, I think we have enough ink to pull an impression, and we'll just give that a try. Place down on the board. Here's the side, it has a nice smooth surface. I'm going to leave that a moment or two just for the springiness of the wool blanket to help force the ink onto the surface of the paper. We're only talking about 10-15 seconds. Now, as we can see, we have an impression showing through, and so we should have pulled a print. And there we are. Very nice image from a large carving, woodblock carving from 5mm custom wood. Okay, I'm finding a lettuce for sketchbook. Looking for a K. In the hand binding, book binding, we've bound up this little sketchbook as a sample, working with students. I'd like to show you how we can emboss lead type, bold lead type, into the cover of our book using my yellowXpress. And the first thing we need to do is lay the type onto the centre of our stainless steel baseboard. I'll slide the book cover on gently. See that I have the angles about right, looks pretty good, and apply the pressure. And there we have sketchbook embossed into the cover of our sketchbook. And the lettering is clear, precise and crisp. We've just repaired the cloth on the end paper of this old type style book, American type style book. And we're at the last stage now when we need to hold it under the nipping press for a few minutes and crouch down and check if it's lined up with the case, the spine exposed and the case lined up there. Apply the pressure and just a firm pressure, firm, not too hard, and that will hold the book in the correct position for about, we call that nipping, about 15 minutes of applied pressure for the glue to dry and hold the book in position, and it will stay that way. Right, I've got my first baseboard, which we call the post when making paper. I'm using two absorbent blankets to start off with, a piece of netting, and I slide my mould, which is the shape, and the netting to the top, and the open frame, which is the decal, on top of that. My thumbs to the top, down into the vat, slide it backwards and forwards to get a coating of paper, of pulp, down, up, let the water run off, and peel off the decal. There we have a sheet of paper trapped, it's very thick, and I trapdoor it down onto the netting, push with my fingers and lift up my mould, give a little bit of flick to start it off, and there's a sheet of paper laid down on the netting. The next step is to place another piece of netting on top, and then another blanket to help absorb the water. Another piece of netting, this time a piece of lace netting, and that pattern will be pressed into the paper. Some more pulp. Let some of the water run off. Trapdoor it on. netting on top, another blanket, netting, some more pulp, stir it up first. Another piece of netting, another blanket, and we can keep on going, build up a post of wet paper. Next step is to apply the board, last post on the top, another board, slide it into our press, and we'll pump it up to squeeze the water out of the paper, and to create the pattern of the netting will be forced into the wet paper pulp. And here you see the water starting to come down. By applying pressure, squeeze the water out. You need to wait a little while between each bit of pressure because the water takes time to work its way to the side. And remember, we have 2-ton pressure here, so it's quite considerable. And now we can loosen the pressure off and slide it out. And here we have the heavy plastic has held the sheet of paper, and it's taken the impression there, and now we hang that piece up to dry, and in the weather conditions that we have today, that'll dry in about 2 hours. Next one. Now this piece has the pattern of the lace embossed into the paper. We hang that one up to dry. And the last one. Plain netting. There's a nice simple pattern pressed into the paper. Once again, hanging it up to dry will only take a couple of hours. And you'll have paper, dampened art paper, and lay on our blankets under the press, pressure on, full pressure, and the thicker the paper we use, the stronger the embossing. Now this paper is 190 gram, and you can see clearly it's been forced into the grooves of the lino, and we have a complete impression there of the stick insect. If I carefully lift that off, you can see the stick insect there has been pressed and forced into the paper. Just the same as the handmade paper actually. It's just harder to see with the camouflage.